President Obama answers questions about Big Brother on the internet while he prepares to tell Chinese leaders to stay out of computers in America. This is Special Report. Good evening, I'm Chris Wallace in for Brett Baer. Timing is everything in politics, but timing is not on President Obama's side tonight. As he prepares for a one-on-one with America's greatest cyber adversary, he is defending his own administration's surveillance of the internet, your phone calls, even your shopping habits. Chief White House correspondent Ed Henry is traveling with the president tonight in Palm Springs, California.
After even more revelations overnight about massive government surveillance, President Obama declared he was not happy about the continued leaks of sensitive information and suggested it could make the country less safe.
If, in fact, this information ends up just being dumped out willy-nilly, without regard to risks to the program, then it's very hard for us to be as effective in protecting the American people.
Amid growing questions about whether the National Security Agency is snooping, the commander-in-chief was forced into an extraordinary exchange with reporters. At an event that was supposed to be focused on health care reform, he took two questions about the spying allegations and had to repeatedly insist his national security team is not eavesdropping on private conversations.
I want to be very clear. Some of the hype that we've been hearing over the last day or so, nobody's listening to the content of people's phone calls.
The president said the government is just looking at phone numbers and durations of calls to cull so-called metadata to investigate potential terror links. In another extraordinary move, Director of National Intelligence James Clapper released a statement confirming the broad brush of the program, but insisted, quote, the court only allows the data to be queried when there is a reasonable suspicion based on specific facts that the particular basis for the query is associated with a foreign terrorist organization. Remarkable, since back in March, Clapper suggested to a Senate panel this was not even happening at all.
No, sir.
It does not.
Not wittingly. There are cases where they could inadvertently, perhaps, collect, but not wittingly.
Yet the Wall Street Journal reported the scope of the surveillance is much wider than originally known. The NSA has been collecting phone records from not just Verizon, but AT&T and Sprint Nextel as well. And the agency has also cataloged credit card transactions. Plus, Fox has confirmed there is a secret program known as PRISM, aimed at terrorists overseas, that gives the NSA and the FBI access to servers operated by a slew of tech companies, including Google, Apple, Facebook, Yahoo, Microsoft, and Skype. The Washington Post obtained a top-secret document revealing this allows the government to collect audio and video chats, photographs, emails, documents, and connection logs to track potential terrorists, though an architect of the Patriot Act believes it may lead to abuse.
This is a dragnet, it's an overreach, and we've got to find out why this is justified, simply because the NSA wants to do some data mining.
The president noted there are safeguards because the programs are constantly reviewed by the FISA court and Congress. Those civil libertarians scoffed at that explanation.
All of your communications are being fed into a massive data bank that the government has access to. It's a major violation of privacy, and I'm really astonished by the dismissive attitude of the president.
The president basically said the American people should trust him, claiming he's running these programs with much more oversight than the Bush administration.
You can complain about Big Brother and how this is a potential, program run amok. But when you actually look at the details, then I think we've struck the right balance.
The problem is the latest revelations come after an avalanche of other alleged abuses of power, from the Internal Revenue Service targeting conservative groups to the president's Attorney General, Eric Holder, signing off on the labeling of Fox News correspondent James Rosen as a possible criminal co-conspirator, as well as the monitoring of his phone records and email.
This administration that said it was going to be the most transparent in history, I think you might argue it's the least transparent, certainly in recent times.
In a few hours, the president will begin a mini summit here in Palm Springs with his Chinese counterpart. Pressing the Chinese on cyber attacks was supposed to be and will continue to be, we're told, a key topic of discussion, but it could now get a bit awkward for the U.S. side. Chris?
You bet. Ed Henry with the president in Palm Springs, California. Ed, thanks for that.